It's finally time to wrap up this whole Chromebook, MacBook thing. Um, hey, here's the Chromebook. Um, you know it's backwards, but the way they put Chrome to face this way. Why do they do that? Anyways, I want to make this kind of shorter, I guess. But basically at this point, I guess if you haven't seen the other parts of this video, this is like the third part. This is actually 5 months later, after the very first video. So the rough thing here is that in the first video, if you want to check that out, I have the links in the description. The first video, the first part is all about like what I'm doing here, which the general gist of that is to say that basically I want to check out macOS and chromeOS to see which one I like, um, and compare them to me using Windows all the time. And then I talked about the models I was getting and my plans of what I was going to kind of try to do, and all that stuff is kind of in there. So if you're interested in the actual particular models and things and everything that I got here, check that video out. Part 2 was about the general experience. I think that was probably a few weeks after I got them, and I was using them. I was trying to test those out a bit, and those are my results. So if you're kind of curious about that, that's where I kind of look a little bit more at actually some of the programs and things and what you can do on them and whatnot. And this third video is just kind of the wrap up here. I was originally planning to wait for a year later, but it's like 5 months later. I think it's good enough. I think I have enough data for myself to tell how this kind of turned out. So I guess as far as the operating systems go, I guess we'll just look at it like this quick. I just wanted to put something in the frame to you, something to look at. So for the operating systems, I had this to say about Chrome OS. All right, so Chrome OS, thoughts on this. I do think that this is very usable. It's more similar to Windows, I think, than trying to do it from Mac. So like it has a little button here. If I kind of like basically it's like your start menu, you have a bunch of stuff you can go to, or you can like search for things. There you have a bunch of apps. You have the Google Play Store you can go to get a bunch of apps for that way, or is you can get Chrome extensions. Basically everything runs through either Chrome or an Android app on here and everything. So it's fairly easy to use for a lot of things. Very straightforward. And then like I don't know, can I go to like settings from here? Yeah, just type in settings. There was probably a button or something down there, but I didn't see it. Problem with this though is that with settings, basically it's like there are some settings that are weird, where like I can't change certain things. Like let's see if I can find where some of these are. But like I can't change certain settings because some things are just locked, some things are limited. You can change certain things. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So like power, yeah, the display, keep the display on. When it's charging, it's on battery, keep display. Oh, I can. Oh, did I have it on that? Maybe you can. There's just like some stuff you can't change that you can. So that's a bad example. I just know there's a couple things I have to look for. Like it's hard to get some of these settings to go. There's some things you just can't change. So there were a couple settings that weren't here. One of the weirdest things though you can't do that I guess I'm showing right here is you can't put stuff on like the desktop. The desktop is not a thing you can like put stuff on. It's just it's just here. It's a digital picture frame backdrop for putting windows up on it. But the other also here Google Play Store. Just to I don't need to open it, but just so there's something else on the screen to look at. Yeah, they still have not given me my $25 for the gift card that I bought and activated, and they're like, give us more information. And I did that multiple times, and I emailed them about it, and they just won't give me my $25. So Google just stole $25 from me, and I wanted to make that clear again. Google stole my $25. So I don't want to talk too much about the apps and stuff. A lot of stuff like works here. You have a lot of things available because Android has a lot of apps. There are a lot of Chrome extensions you can get. A lot of places you can go web-based things. So Chrome is very usable. It's very easy to use if you use Windows. And I guess I would it's easier to switch from like Windows to Chrome or Chrome to Windows than it is dealing with something like with Mac. You just have less options here, less personalization, less things available as far as like powerful apps and things. It's much more on the lighter side of things. It's kind of the point. with Chrome OS on things unless you get like a super beefy Chromebook, but you probably can't do a whole lot of crazy stuff with it unless you do weird crazy workarounds if you go in like developer mode or something. But that's like basically using Linux, and that's beyond what I know how to do. And that's again the simplicity of Google Chrome, of the Chrome OS. That's what it's really pushing is simplicity and how good it works, and just making it easy and simple for you. And it does a good job of that. The only other really weird quirk here is you can see right now I have my brightness is at maximum, but if I like close this, and I wonder if it's this or if it's when I restart. I don't know for sure if it's that. So we'll try to open it back up, and that stayed. So let's just restart quick. If I can find my fucking power menu. Where's my power button? There it is. I use this a lot, guys. Can you tell? Restart. There it goes. Now if I hit the, look at this, and I do the brightness, yeah, it wasn't fully on. I don't know why it does that. It doesn't say my brightness setting. So some things are a little annoying, and it's like sometimes it just nags you about updates and things, and it's not like it's not perfect by any means, but it's still very good, very usable, livable. If you had to use this, like if I was forced to use this for some reason, for whatever that reason may be, I could get by with Chrome OS. It would be doable. It might not be ideal. It might be very limited to certain apps and extensions and browser-based things, but it's still perfectly usable as a thing. And I had this to say about macOS. All right, so this is just the quick thoughts here, I guess, on my time using macOS, just general thoughts. And, I mean, it's pretty easy to use. I don't have too many real complaints with this, because, I mean, it's really simple once you get used to it. And you get lots of apps you can put on here. There is a lot of stuff that's available for it, even if compatibility isn't always great. A lot of stuff on Steam, surprisingly, when it is compatible for it, has been working and stuff. And there are things available for it. There's a lot of the built-in stuff like Pages and Notes and like iMovie. It's nice to have all these inbuilt things with macOS. Safari is a fine browser. All that built-in stuff is good. GarageBand. But there are some things that are a little annoying with this. I mean, obviously a lot of integrated Apple stuff works with my phone really easily with things to connect just seamlessly because it's all connected to this. But basically, I don't know. Like for example, let's do like Pages. Just click on that and open that up, and yeah, I'll open up the Call of Duty 3 thing. Yeah, okay, open. Right. And you've got this. They do have an interesting thing you can kind of do. Maybe other stuff has it too, I guess, if you haven't used it. But you can go full screen and then I can use 3 fingers to swipe around back to my desktop or whatever. That's kind of nice. But you'll notice a thing here is that if you're I move this around or whatever. There's this, but then it's okay, well, that's cool. But the actual options for the top of the window here are up here. If you want to do file and save or whatever, it's up there. It's not the stuff isn't on here. A lot of the options and things are up on the top across these things. Also notice that the things for minimize and full screen and stuff is all up here. And yeah, the close button's up the top left. That's just a weird why was that their choice? I don't know. And then say I'm done here, and you hit close, right? But you notice there's still a little dot down here, this bottom part down here, and so it's not actually all the way done. So sometimes you have to go like this. You can either hit Command Q or just go to this and do quit, and then it'll actually close it. That's a weird pet peeve. So that's weird. I don't know why it does that either. A lot of things also, when you try to plug things in, it'll ask for permission to use the thing, and that's I don't know why it does that all the time. I mean, it only does it the first time you use something, but it's a little annoying that so many things are like that. Sometimes you have to go under security permissions and add extra permissions for controllers and things to do even more. There's also if I can find this here, very well planned in this. You have things for trackpad or whatever. You have stuff for scrolling. And so right now, if I'm I want to scroll here, I can scroll on the trackpad and go like this or whatever. And so it's so if I want to scroll, and I'm okay, well, let's go like like this, and it's kind of the way you would expect to scroll, right? Two fingers do this, like you would on a touch screen or something. It makes sense to scroll this way, but I mean that's considered natural scrolling. But if I turn on a mouse and then I want to scroll with this, well, then if I scroll, it's like this should be scrolling whatever, and you're like up scrolls down, and this thing's like it's opposite. I don't know why that's the thing. It scrolls like the opposite of the way you'd want to scroll with a mouse. And there's no way to independently change those. That's just a weird Mac OS thing that's been for ever. So that's weird. But there's not a whole lot else other than I'm just going to test this one thing quick here. Sometimes I'll close it, like I'm done, whatever, and then come back later. I go to sign in, and they have a cool scrolly dynamic background thing. That's neat. It's dot 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 dot, and I'm back in here, and the background is, you see, is different now. It kind of just gets stuck wherever it was in the animation for things, so I have to go back into the settings and go to wallpaper, and then fix that. Be like, oh, I don't want that to do that or whatever. I want it to. Let's just say, oh, well then let's put it to dark, and then dark looks normal, and then put it to light, and it didn't fix it. So sometimes if I toggle it a few times, well, usually it resets it. If I restart the whole computer, it probably will. But yeah, it gets stuck in weird places sometimes. I don't know why it does this. That's a little. It's not a big deal. It's a little annoying. So yeah. And it's a built-in thing where if you wiggle your mouse, it gets really big. Whoa. So, basically, yeah, some of that's a little nitpicky and whatever, but macOS is still pretty usable. I don't really have much for complaints other than, permissions constantly, and compatibility is sometimes an issue for some things, but there's a lot of the options for things that do work here that work really well, a lot of built-in stuff that works really well, and once you learn all the quirks and the, where are the buttons, what is it called, what do you do, where are things, once you get that kind of down, it's really easy to use, and I assume if you just, if you use this forever, it'll be second nature, just like it'll be just as jarring to jump over to Windows or something from this, but also easy because you can Google any weird problems or questions and stuff that you have. So that's my general take on this. You also can't ever close Finder. I don't know why that is. So it's just always there. So it has a little pip there, and that's just that's bothers me. It's a pet peeve. It's a pet peeve. It's a yeah. And then I guess as a general comparison, my main computer uses Windows, running Windows 11. I mean, if you want to be that technical about it, but more people probably use Windows anyway. So yeah, Windows 11 is on my main computer. I don't know what the hell version of Chrome this is. It's like Clara or some weird thing. I don't know. There's some name for it that I don't remember what it is, and I think well, we'll get to those particulars on the Mac thing in a minute. You'll see what I mean there. But basically, yeah, the stuff about Windows 11, I kind of feel, I guess, a little bit like this. All right, you have to excuse my cluttered desktop for this, but Windows 11 is pretty much like Windows 10 in a lot of ways. I think by default, this thing is in the middle with your Windows button and the apps and stuff. They still separate control panel and control panel and settings and stuff, so that's kind of weird. This again, a lot of this just kind of rolls over from Windows 10. Like I say, this usually is in the middle. Actually, can I switch that from here? Okay. Well, yeah, that's where it is. So the taskbar, you can align this. It's centered by default, but you can align and it'll look like this. And I hate that. It's more like a Mac thing, which is weird they would go like that. But I use on the left. So you can change that if that bothers you, and customize the other things on and off as you want. Can I go back from here? One weird thing about this is that I think Windows 10 did some of this too, but this has been a big problem for me. It's stuff you go in here, and I've already changed the setting for my audio. Actually, is this correct? It is. But there's this thing down here called audio enhancements. A lot of times with these, what'll happen is they usually set default to device defaults and whatever. You want to switch that to off, just because for most things it's for whatever reason with that, it's I think if you have a really bad microphone or headphones or something, then it'll make it sound better. But if you have something even halfway decent, this will just make it sound like crap. Like my Blue Yeti sounded terrible on this computer until I figured this out. So definitely anytime you plug in a microphone, you're going to do something. Just make sure all these things are saying like the audio is going to be fine. That's one of them. One of the things I wanted to point out quick. There's not a lot because again a lot of this is the same. But one thing also is if I go over here at something like this, I need this menu here, and it's like you don't really have the same like where's my copy and paste and whatever. Here's like cut and copy, rename, share, and delete. They're all up here on this little quick menu thing with pictures. So if you're used to like going down to a certain spot here from like Windows 10, you're like, oh, it's just down here, whatever. It's like up here now. Which once you get used to it, I guess is kind of quick. Also, that background changing that was me. I have that set to just every minute to switch from this. It's a default background that comes with it though. It's nothing fancy. And then if you do more options like this, then you can get the stuff down here like you would normally have it. So it's like an extra click if you want it the old way. If you don't want to deal with the icons. But it's probably easier to just kind of learn the icons and stuff. So I think that's about it for like, again, there's not a whole lot way different here. I don't know how much is different from Windows 10 for like some other features. Like I figured out you can do a thing like, oh, you 3 fingers up on the touchpad and you can have virtual desktops just like that. You can use the 3 fingers to swipe left and right to different programs, but I don't have any open. So, what am I going to do? Google. And I can go like this, but like, well, also I don't have open. So let's open up Paint. And now it's like, okay, well, it's just full screen Paint. And then, oh, I can switch to Google. I can switch to Paint. It's not amazing or anything, but you can do it. So, yeah, it's a cool feature that I found out from using a Mac that you can do that on here now as well. So, like, I don't know, like, Windows 11 is really capable. It's really good. I don't really have any complaints for, like, major things other than that audio thing. And updates are actually not quite as bad either. You can actually switch updates if I can do this. And make it so, like, you can have, like, oh, yeah, get the latest things, whatever. And as soon as they're ready, you'll have more updates that way. But if you just want, like, the major builds that come out, you can just click that off, and then you'll only get stuff that, like, is a major update rather than, like, the preview things and seeing everything, which I honestly should probably do, but I still have kind of kept this on. And it's even different, like, it's... So, like, there's, like, also you can go into, like, a beta, I think, and stuff, too. But, like, even this, you're going to get more updates, But it's still, even with this on, I've noticed it's not as frequent as, like, Windows 10 or, earlier Windows versions I've used. 7 and 10 felt like it was updating quite a lot. Whereas this, it doesn't seem to update quite as often. And you can pause updates for, like, you can't just do them when you want them. And you can do them when it's, like, offline and plugged in or whatever. But, like, or not offline, but, like, is asleep but plugged in, whatever. So, like, I don't know. Windows 11 is it's a lot like Windows 10 with some potential to do more things that I don't know how much it lives up to it. There's no need to jump to it from 10, really. You can just wait. But if you get something with Windows 11 on it, it's not that hard to switch to it. And I still prefer it over macOS Sonoma and whatever the fuck the Google one was. But that's mostly because I'm used to it. Whereas other ones, I think you could figure out the other two, honestly. But I'd probably say this in the rest of the video, so I should probably keep this about Windows, right? Anyways, that's Windows 11 bit I was going to splice in that I did after finishing the recording of the rest of the stuff. Alright. And that kind of has all the little clip things I recorded outside of this to splice in. So that's probably the more interesting parts there. I was also, part of this whole thing was to try and see which of these I liked for... well, I guess just as a quick generalization on the wrap-up of, Windows versus Mac versus Chrome operating systems. Windows is still going to do everything. Windows is going to be able to get you to do the most compatibility. Most things are going to be built for Windows first and foremost, unless they're specific to Chrome or Apple for some reason. Google or Apple for some reason. So, like, most things are probably going to be geared towards Windows. If you want to do the most things, you're going to want a Windows computer. That's just kind of how it is. And it hasn't really changed. It's better pretty much across the board for almost everything, aside from maybe a few niche things. So when you're looking at stuff with ChromeOS, the idea is you're looking for something that's more of like, it's kind of built to run on stuff that's like, lighter hardware, cheaper. You're going to save money because you're getting Chrome stuff that's like basically usually Chromebooks, and you're getting those for like students. You're getting those for people who don't use stuff a whole lot. They're cheap, and they're they're fine. They're fine, but they're just not really hardcore heavy hitter powerhouse machines unless you get an upper end one. And at that point, you might as well just get a Windows laptop that could probably be beefier and do more. Apple laptops are definitely the idea with MacBooks, particularly, is that they're very they are expensive, but they are pretty good quality, and you're gonna get solid support for the stuff that is on there. And especially if you're doing for some more particular things, especially like art stuff, music, digital art, whatever, there's certain things where there's just better programs there for people who prefer using them. There's a lot of stuff there to like, and I think really the overall takeaway, I think, though, for the general audiences here is that really any of these will be usable to some extent. I mean, it depends on how much power you want. It depends on the kind of apps you want, the kind of support you want. It depends if you care about having an ecosystem. Obviously, Apple has a very strong ecosystem. Google is no slouch, but Windows is probably tailing, a bit behind in that department. It's a little more finicky and hard to keep all your Windows stuff together for your Microsoft account things or whatever. But yeah, they're working on it. And Windows obviously is still king for gaming. Yeah, so it's just one of those, like, what do you want to do? How much do you want to spend? What is your goal? That kind of stuff. So as far as like the other part of this, I wanted to look at some of the build quality and things on these and figuring that stuff out, because really when I was looking at both the Chromebook and the MacBook, I'm thinking I want to like side/back computer on this thing is kind of my thought. This was the big thing, so I'm like, well, these are cheap, and I don't need to spend a lot on one of these. I can just kind of throw it up for videos here and there. If something does happen to my main computer, I can just use this instead. And this is by Lenovo rather than HP that I always get. And this thing is it's not bad. I mean, this is obviously an old kind of crappy thing. It's not it's not good. It's not a high performing thing. Like, it's not really supposed to be. But like, it I like kind of rubbery stuff around here and whatever, and I really like the keyboard. It's probably the coolest thing about this. I don't know if coolest, the best thing about this. The thing I liked the most about using this was using the keyboard, because it has this really nice feel to it. It was very like kind of like tactile. It has a little bit of like a texture on it. I really liked typing stuff on this thing for like Word documents. I really liked this. But it's too weak. If I got one that's a little newer, more powerful, it would probably be better. But like, it just didn't run YouTube very well. And through natural use, I basically just kind of quit using. I kind of quit using it because YouTube I had to run at like 480p to make it run, smoothly. Which on this screen is not super terrible to notice, but it's obviously you want at least 720p, probably for most things. It's got an interesting ability to, it has a touchscreen. It can be like folded around itself and whatever. You can do the whole, like I didn't think you could before, but you can. You can fold this, but you have to like push the hinges kind of, I think, out a bit. Maybe, can I even do it? I swear you can. Yeah. So then you just have this, like, oh cool, it disables the keyboard luckily, but yeah, it's a kind of a tablet sort of. So I mean, it's a 2-in-1 thing. That's kind of neat, right? But I never use that. And I pretty much just use it as a laptop. Yeah. And yeah, it's like I say, it's fine. Mostly I'm just mad still because they took my $25. But yeah, it can't, it doesn't keep up with things. This thing just doesn't have enough under the hood to keep up with most of what I want to do. And even just having it on the side for YouTube, it kind of struggled with that. It wasn't a great experience there. So it's definitely, not something I really would want to keep using. If anything, I'd probably just have a backup computer being like my old computer when I need to upgrade or something like that. Was kind of my idea, is like if I was going to keep using this. But then I kind of got the other idea here with the MacBook Air. This is like early 2015 model. And this thing is not bad. This thing, I mean, it's comparable to the Chromebook in its like size, and it's like, you know, I'm not like this finish on here stuff, whatever. Like, this thing was surprisingly capable even for, you know, how much later it is now, right? I mean, it came out in 2015, so it was what, like, I was testing this in 2023. We're talking like, well, now it's actually what, because we're early 2024 and I'm recording this, so it's actually what, this is getting close to, probably pretty close to 9 years old now. Works surprisingly well, still getting support. Pretty cool. You can't get the newest OS on it, but like it is still supported, still good. I really liked this, and the ability to talk to my phone was nice, and other things, you know, syncing up with iCloud stuff, good apps, and all that other stuff was cool. So like I did really like this. I like the finish on this. And it's got, you know, nice ports and stuff, and the keyboard's nice and everything. I mean, like, this thing is nice. Can I open it? Here, yeah. And actually, really, just like I mean, honestly, it's just, you know, like the metal finish and stuff. This is a pretty machine. I like this. I think this is aesthetically very pleasing. I like that it's light. It just definitely is perfectly usable. It's a very nice machine. Very impressed with it. So much to the point that, like, I was kind of like, you know what? With the limitations of macOS and compatibility and all that stuff, I'm like, I don't think I'd want to go full in on a MacBook Pro or something like huge like that for like my next main laptop, which was the reason I was looking at Mac, as like maybe I can make a step up there from once, maybe I can make that jump. But it did make me want to use one of these for like my side/backup computer, because I'm like, well, this is really nice, you know, nice keyboard, backlit keyboard even, so I can see that in the dark too. Cool. The metal and the trackpad, everything on this is like really good. Especially for how old it is and how it's still like, I mean, I know it's refurbished, but it's refurbished to spec, and it's good, and I like it. And I like it so much that actually I got myself one of these, which if you just look at it, you probably can't necessarily tell. Might be able to tell that it's newer. This is the 2020 13-inch MacBook Air with the M1 chip in it. So it's got like 8 gigs unified memory, 256 gigs storage. It's the base model, base configuration thing that you can just get because it went on sale a few times, and it went for like $750, and I'm like, God damn it. People are saying how awesome it is, and I'm liking that other one, and I just want to get this, and it's awesome. This thing it's so good. I like that it's more powerful to be doing stuff. It's using macOS Sonoma. This is the thing you saw, and that running, that's what you saw for the little clip, because the other one I already reset that one. I wiped it, and so I could use this one. I didn't want both of them active at the same time, so that's why I just used this. This is my new side/backup computer, and I love it. I've been using it for voice and video calls with people. I've been using it to write reviews between this and my phone. The way it can sync up with my document things is really handy, and for notes and stuff too. Really like that. Even like nicer screen. Like, this is still like 13-inch, you know, computer and stuff. But like, a little hard to open. But it's you can kind of see like the bezels on the screen are way smaller on this. You'll see probably in a second, because there's dark areas around there. Way smaller, nice screen. And just like, again, it's like metal thing, backlit keyboard and stuff. Look how huge this trackpad is. Insane. So the finish is nice. It feels nice. It's really nice to use. It also has no fan in it. So it's like, it's fanless. You never hear fan noise. But the chip is so powerful that like very rarely does it even get that hot. I will say that for gaming, that's gonna be one of the few things where some games are gonna make it hot. I haven't done a whole lot of intensive like video editing and stuff on there, but like this thing has handled games surprisingly well, much better than like my 2019 HP mid-range laptop. This thing can play most of those games looking better, and performing better as well, which is crazy because, you know, obviously this thing is a Mac, which isn't known for gaming. It doesn't have a fan, like I mentioned, and it's got that, it doesn't have dedicated graphics. It just has that M1 chip in there. So the performance is pretty crazy. The thing that's like, I mean, obviously the elephant in the room there with gaming, obviously, this is not a gaming machine. So obviously, like really new intensive stuff probably won't work. Compatibility is like, I think I have roughly 600 games. Actually, it's probably closer to 600 games on here, and I have about 70 of them work. I'm still working my way through them just to test all of them, so I haven't finished testing all of them, but so far I've done probably like, I think around half of them, and most of them, yeah, very impressed with this, although controller support is still like a lot of network with the controller for some reason. I don't know why. So it's not like it's been perfect even within the things that are compatible with this, but still pretty impressed there. I got like a MIDI controller I can use. I can just plug it in with GarageBand and just start using that right away. That was really cool right out of the box, plug and play. It was awesome. And I can use my phone still as like a camera and stuff if I want to and whatever. That's kind of neat, like I really, really enjoyed this thing. I only have like a couple of complaints probably here. I mean, one thing that's a little hard to open. I also don't really like the thing that it's like this. It just, when you open it up, it just turns on. I don't really care for that so much. I like the other one where I had to actually turn it on. But that's not a big thing, it's not that hard to do stuff with. Turn it on or whatever. Another issue though, probably one of the biggest sticking points here is, look over here. You've got these two. Is that even gonna focus? I don't know. These two USB-C ports. I mean, like the other end's got a headphone combo jack. So those are the only ports you get. So there's no dedicated charging port, which is kind of a bummer because it's like, well, I would like to be able to just have that. One of these is always a temporary port then. But thinking about that, it's like, well, the battery life is really good on this thing too. So, I mean, unless your session is going to be really long or really intensive to drain the battery, it's probably not a problem. And, like, okay, so like, if you have a Bluetooth, say you have a Bluetooth mouse in there, and you have like one other accessory, you could have another thing like plugged in and still, you still have it charging with one accessory plugged in a Bluetooth mouse or something. I don't know. If you want more ports, you're not going to go for the Air. The Air is the model for more the entry level, the beginner stuff, and they're pretty expensive for that, but very good. Again, very good build quality. These are very high quality things. The problem is just, yeah, it would be nice sometimes to have more ports, but again, as a side/backup computer, I probably don't need that many ports unless something happens, and then I have, I do have, USB-C things like this thing over here. Just turn it into like a USB hub or whatever, and just plug that in, and it'll be fine. Thunderbolt 4/USB 4. It lets you do a lot with those two ports, so that's still cool. And the other issue, really, probably the biggest one I have with this, my biggest gripe, is the camera that's built into here is 720p. Now I know it came out in 2020, but even then 720p was, it's not really cutting it anymore, right? It's good 720p. It is very good for 720p. Keep in mind that the other MacBook Air also is 720p webcam, and that's from 5 years before this. Keep in mind that many iPhones from long before this have had cameras small enough to fit in the camera spot that would be, that would have higher quality. I'm not saying you need a 4K camera in this thing, but 1080p webcam, that's all I was asking for. Newer models, like if you get the M2 MacBook Air, I was looking stuff up on that, and basically that does really sounds like the ideal version of this, other than the price is not $750 yet. But those do have a dedicated MagSafe charging port on top of the two USB-C ports, and those have 1080p webcams in them. So, and they also have nicer, like, they have like a sort of Retina screen. They have it's a liquid Retina, so it's like a better display. So, I mean, like, that's probably a good thing to look at if you're looking at that. But I've been really, really enjoying this thing, getting a lot of use out of it. I can even like pull stuff off my phone for videos and stuff and put it on there. I bought a dedicated, and like I can use that to actually kind of bypass that not going to my main computer and just be like, oh, I'll put it from my phone, AirDrop it to my computer, and then move it from my computer to my flash drive, and then from flash drive to the other computer, and that actually works for some reason. So that's weird. That's cool. Yeah, so if I want to edit videos from like recording on my phone and stuff, I could do it on iMovie here. I could do it on my other computer that way. This opens up a lot of possibilities. I like this computer a lot. And if I was going to travel or anything, the way I can just hook up to like my hotspot thing, it's just a really, really nice computer. And I'm finally, after being really guilty about buying it because I don't need it, eventually I'm like, you know what? I'm finally happy with it. Like maybe a month or two ago, I'm finally like, okay, it's okay that I got this. I really like it. But wait, there's more. Okay. The real elephant in the room here. This is my HP Spectre X360 from, I think I got this in 2022, I believe. And I mean, this fella here is a monster. I got it spec'd out when I got it, so this is, like a $2,500 computer. So it's got 32 gigs of RAM. It's got 2 terabytes of storage in it. It's got I think it's whatever gen, maybe it's like 11th or 12th. It might be 12th gen i7 processor of some sort. And it's got, at the time, their new, I don't know if they've iterated on it now since then or not actually, but the Intel graphics card, the ARC. I think it's like the 570 or something. 370 something, one of those first 2 chips. I think it was a 70 and not a 50, but I don't remember the first number. I had it written down somewhere. It doesn't matter. Point is, this thing is this big old beefy thing, and it's got a thing that you'll barely be able to see because the way I frame this stuff isn't going to fit in here. It does still have metal case though. See, it's all metal. I like that a lot. And it's got 4K OLED screen on it. It's got a backlit keyboard that you can't see because all my lights that are on it. It has a little fingerprint thing even over here, so you can do the fingerprint thing if you want to do that. I don't, but you could. This thing is really, really good. It's obviously it's a big powerhouse. Been great for editing videos. You go to sleep screen, whatever, do what you want. Annoyingly, this one though, because again, this is HP, this one, the webcam crapped out on me, and I can't, no matter what I do, it will not work anymore. So that's really frustrating for a $2,500 computer, and making me want to look at people that aren't HP for the future. That's why I was like, I don't know. Other than that, it's been pretty good. I've had a couple of glitches and things here and there that I fixed, and I don't know how much of that is really HP's fault versus, Windows. It's I'm very happy with this computer. I really like this a lot. The fans do get pretty crazy on here, especially compared to a fanless MacBook Air. This thing sounds like, a jet's taking off when it's really being tasked. Sometimes even just, charging the battery, it'll be like, whoa, fans gotta come on. Like, it's crazy. That was weird. Look, don't arrest me. Then there's like the, I don't even know if that picked up on the camera. There's a siren thing. This does have 2 USB-C ports. They're only Thunderbolt 3, but it has USB-A port. It's got the friggin', like, if I can even show this. So it's got, like, over here, you've got, like, the, so hard to get this even in the frame. Got a USB 3.0 port over here, which has a little, like, door flap. And it's got, we've got a HDMI, full HDMI out for a second monitor. We've got a headphone combo jack in the back. On the other side, we've got like a micro SD card reader in here that you can't see because of lighting. It's hard to fit this in here. It's so big. This is a 16-inch laptop, by the way, when the other ones are 13. So, like, the other one is 13, so that, you can notice that. Then there's a USB-C thing there. USB-C thing on the back corner, and that's where you put the power in. So there's there's some cool stuff here. There's some stuff to like about this for sure. I like this. I don't think the finish on this is quite as good. It seems to show some kind of like dirtiness more. It doesn't feel as cool and nice to the touch as the MacBook One. I also say that the built-in mic I think is okay, but it also does an annoying thing where you have to go in every time you have a microphone turn on and turn off the thing where it's like, we'll enhance your audio for you, because it makes it sound like crap, unless your microphone already sounds like crap. That's a Windows 11 thing. I maybe mentioned that thing. I haven't actually recorded. Spoiler, I haven't recorded the bit where I'm talking about Windows 11 yet as of this, so wow, time is an illusion, truly. Truly and for surely. And I will say that the 2020 MacBook Air, that thing has surprisingly good built-in mic and speakers. So that's for a little, especially for a laptop, they're pretty good. They're not going to beat having a headphone and a dedicated, headphones and a dedicated microphone. Yeah, you're not going to beat that with those, but they're still really good. Whereas this thing still makes you kind of want to have some nice accessories on you, right? So that has been really, really good. And honestly, nothing has supplanted this. I imagine the next time I want to get a computer, I'm probably still not even going to get a desktop because I like moving it around sometimes a little bit, even if I rarely go anywhere. And I'm just going to get another laptop, and I'm going to get probably another HP one because I'm a sucker for it, right? I'm just going to do it unless somebody else has a really good one that sounds good. Lenovo, I've heard good things about. I almost got a Lenovo when I got this one, but I was like, I went for this one. So I don't know. It probably is worth not just going for HP because I always get HP. And because sometimes they let me down, like my last computer dying a little early, and this one, the webcam not working now, and but that's it. Take that away. That's the video for you. This has been my big ol' experiment, and yeah, basically the conclusion is I still am gonna keep using Windows as my main thing. Whose Windows laptop I get may change depending on how things go as chips and other things advance, but I like having the idea of having an Apple laptop as my side/backup laptop to kind of be in between things, so I don't feel like as soon as my main computer craps out I have to immediately be like, well, I really need to get another computer right now. I can take my time and look a little bit more. And I don't know, I like that, having a side backup travel whatever computer. It's cool. And also it's just been fun to check out different operating systems. It's fun to play around with tech. And yeah, I definitely didn't think when I started this that I would be, just jumping into a $750 computer after buying one for $100 and one for, one for $100, one for $200. But hey, at least I won't have to get a computer for quite a while now. I hope. What did you guys think? You have anything else you want to add to this or whatever? I mean, out of natural use, yeah, I just ended up jumping over to that other MacBook. So obviously I really liked using the MacBook enough where I'm like, I'm going to do this. And a Chromebook, I'm like, I don't think I want to bother with Chromebooks ever again. But what do you guys think? Which do you like for operating systems? Who makes really good laptops? Who's a good laptop manufacturer? What are your thoughts there? Especially of things of different sizes for the finishes or the keyboard for the all that stuff. Give me. Let's have some discussion in the comments, right? Let's have some fun tech talk in the comment box, and I'll see you guys in the next video, and you might even see me, or at least my hand, or something. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just do a video of nothing. I'll just turn the camera on remotely from a different room, and so I won't even be in it, and I'll be like, well, I wonder what the video looks like for you guys, and that'll be, I won't do that. We'll skip that video.